By your local Montana Toyota dealers.
Thursday morning time once again for This Week in Fish and Wildlife. Joining us this morning on the road, Sergeant Matt Wempel. Matt, we're just outside the park boundaries here on the southern end of Region 3. Bison hunting going on. Let's talk a little bit about how things are going here in this area with that.
Well, thus far this year it's been pretty quiet. Snow's really receded on the landscape, so we're not seeing a lot of animals move out of the park where hunters have access to them. So it's been pretty quiet on that front.
That can always change. Weather is a big factor when it comes to the bison hunt area, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. We get a big push of snow like we did at the beginning of November. Bison can be all over the landscape overnight, and things can get going pretty busy pretty quickly.
How long does this season run, Matt?
Runs all the way till February 15th for the state hunters. Tribal hunters have a bit longer period of time, and that varies depending on tribal treaties and regulations.
That's an interesting thing that goes on here. We have the Montana Department of Fish, Wildlife, and Parks licensed hunt. You have so many tags issued for that, but there are tribal hunters out on the landscape.
That's right. Yep, they're out here. Usually start November sometime, depending on when their agencies decide they can start hunting, and they may hunt all the way to the end of March sometimes. And there's about 5 different tribes hunting on the landscape right now, and we work with those tribal game wardens as well in an effort to make sure that we have a safe and productive hunt for everyone.
How many tags are there for this area?
For the Yellowstone ecosystem, we have about 85 permits that are issued to hunters every year.
And that's been going on here for a while. I think it's interesting when we're talking about that kind of thing. It is so dependent on the weather. There's so many factors involved in that. You could have a permit and never see bison out here, literally.
That's absolutely right. They're very, very, the luck factor is a huge part of this hunt for sure. The hunters that get out, get away from the roads tend to have the most consistent success. There's the guys who wait at the boundary for the bison to push across. That can be successful if the conditions are right on the ground. Other than that, there's a lot of looking and a lot of not seeing many animals. So
that's perfect. Again, Matt Wempel, Sergeant with the Montana Department of Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. We're on the road, and that's This Week in Fish and Wildlife.
This Week in Fish and Wildlife was brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.